Right, can we start with the salawat, please? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farajam. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Are you serious? I'm going to start again. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Awesome. I know it's the month of Rajab. Are you all fasting? You're fasting tomorrow. Okay, well, that's good enough. All right, times for Salah, so we know what time you start to fast and what time you finish. What's the time for Salah this morning? You can look it up. Mom's got phones. Dad's got phones. There's a calendar over there. Yes. 6:23 or 6:22. What about Zohar? What time will you pray Zohar today here? Yes. 12:20. And if you're fasting, what time is Maghrib? Yes. Yeah, it's only 4:54. So even if you fast half, Rajab is so good. So if you fast in this month for one, I'm looking at the hadith of the Prophet, then Jahannam is 1,000 years away. If you fast 3, you'll never see Jahannam. I mean 3, that's it. Just 3. Oh, okay. You're obviously not that enthusiastic about it. Okay, what's the date today? As in the Islamic date. What is it? Yes. Okay, the 5th of Rajab. And what is tomorrow? Is it? 6th, obviously. And which day do we celebrate Imam Musa Kadhim Day? And why do we celebrate it on the 7th of Rajab? Why? Because Imam was born on the 7th of Safar. Why do we celebrate his birthday on the 7th of Rajab? We actually call it Imam Musa Kadhim Day. Why do we do that? Ah, come on. Do you mean those teachers didn't teach you anything? So again, when was Imam born? 7th of Safar. And we celebrate it on the 7th of Rajab. Why don't we celebrate it on the 7th of Safar first? Yes. Okay, because Safar is sort of a sad month, okay? But then why Rajab? Why not Shaban? Why not Jamadul Awal? Why not Jamadul Akhir? It's the 7th month, and he's the 7th Imam. So we celebrate his birthday on the 7th day of the 7th month. So if you had a birthday in Muharram, say you were born on the day of Ashura, would you celebrate your birthday? So you could pick a date like that. And that's why you remember Imam Musa Kadhim. You pick a date, which is not in a sad month, and you celebrate it. So on the 7th of Rajab, we will celebrate, or we'll remember Imam Musa al-Kadhim. Okay? So inshallah, you will learn about him at your classes. But what's in the news? Anyone? What's in the news? Nothing in the news this week. Really? Yes. When you put beans on your toast? Yeah. I didn't get that. Repeat it. Oh, okay. Beans on toast. Okay, I'll remember that. I'll Google it and find out. Yes. Sorry? I know, I read that. Flybe cancelled all its flights. Why? What happened? Yes. It's gone to administration. Okay, anything else in the news? Is that it? Flybe cancelled flights. Beans on toast. Oh, it's got to be something else in the news. I've got somebody from Muslim Vibe there. I'm sure he knows what's in the news. No? Salim, come on. You used to be the first one with your hands up when you were little. Yes. You'll have to speak louder. I can't hear. Come here. Come. Can we have a salawat for him? It's quite difficult to come up here. Salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Go on.
Conte is leaving Tottenham Hotspur.
That's a good one. Okay, so this football player, is the name Conte or Conti? Conte. He's leaving Tottenham Hotspurs. Oh my goodness, that is real good news. Oh, is it good news or bad news? Good news. For who? Because you support what? Oh, okay. I thought so because I saw that shirt. Okay. Anything else in the news? Nothing. Okay. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about how we're going to work through this week and all the other weeks that are to come. So basically, you're going to have assembly till about 10 past 10, which is what we normally do. After assembly, we're going to do Quran appreciation. Today we're going to do Surah Al-Kawthar, but that's only for those who are not in the annex. And we're going to do it right here. Parents can stay if they want, teachers can stay if they want. Next week after assembly, oh, by the way, next week, what is so important about next week? What's happening? Go on. Imam Ali's Wiladat. So after assembly, Fardeen is going to do assembly with you. And after assembly, we're going to have our resident alim. Do you remember he came and saw us last week? What was his name? What was his name? Ah, come on. He's going to get upset if he sees this and you don't know his name. Sheikh Anwar Jafar. So he's going to talk to you about Imam Ali alayhi salam. And every week after today, assembly will be from 10 to about 10 past 10. From 10 past 10 to 10:45, you can have Quran appreciation. You're very welcome to stay as parents, but it'll be the students who can stay here. And after that, you will have Quran recitation. Are you comfortable with that? Yes? Okay, fine. Right. Let's read the Surah Al-Fatiha for the marhumin. And then we'll read the dua for protection. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين صدق الله العظيم. Please remember your marhumin. Also remember Shabniz's dad. Shabniz is our teacher. She's right in front here. He died last week. If you remember, we talked about him. Remember all the marhumin of your family, those who are ill and those who are in trouble. Can we now recite the dua for protection? لي خمسة أطفي بها حر الوباء الحاتمة المصطفى والمرتضى وأبناهما والفاطمة لي خمسة أطفي بها حر الوباء الحاتمة المصطفى والمرتضى وأبناهما والفاطمة. Right, those of you who are in the annex and your parents, you can go. The others, you need to stay here, except if you're year 9 girls, because year 9 girls have their lesson from now in the ladies' hall. Otherwise, all of you have to stay here. So if you're in the annex, then you can go. So as parents, you can stay. If you wish to leave halfway, that's not a problem at all, okay? So we're going to start with Quran appreciation in a little while. Can I have all of you closer, please? And I can't have you talking. Right near, please. Thank you. Right, can I have a really loud salawat, please? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farajah. Now what we're going to do today is Surah Al-Kawthar. And it is the shortest surah of the Qur'an, and therefore you should all know it. It's not something you have to learn. All of you should know this surah. It's only 3 ayat. Okay? I'm going to start off with looking at the building. If you look at Quran City, and hopefully someday we will do some buildings again, or we will do a whole Quran City session, you've got Kawthar, and you've got 3 sections. 1, 2, 3. And we're going to go into it. Now with absolutely every surah we learn, we're going to first look at the focus of that surah. So what is that surah talking about? But before that, what does Kawthar mean? So although it says abundant good, I mean, that's quite difficult to understand. What I'd like you to understand about Kawthar is the actual opposite to Takathur. Does anybody know which surah is Surah Takathur? What is Surah Takathur? Anybody know Takathur? Who knows Surah Takathur? Okay, so you got to look it up. So Kawthar and Takathur are absolutely opposite. So if the moment you think of Kawthar, you think of limitless. No limit to what you want, what you will get from Allah. Basically limitless. Do you know what limitless means? Somebody put up their hand and tell me what limitless means. What does limitless mean? Yes. Pardon? There's no end. It will continue forever. Right, let's look at the next slide. That is the focus. Now it says the focus is consolation to the Prophet and granting him limitless abundance and a legacy. And I'd like to talk to you about the history of this surah. So the Prophet had a son called Ibrahim. And Ibrahim died when he was a baby. Now when Ibrahim died as a baby, this was the 3rd son the Prophet lost. And there were people who were teasing him, who were really mean. You see, the Arabs thought that the only way you could be remembered is if you had a son. They didn't like daughters. They buried daughters alive. They were horrible. So when the Prophet's son died, they danced in the streets and they said, Batara Muhammad. In fact, his own uncle did that. Batara or Abtar, which is in this surah, means an animal without a tail. They said, now he has no sons, nobody's ever going to remember him. Because only sons can remember or make parents amazing. They were wrong, obviously. And the Prophet was really sad. I mean, he actually lost a baby. And they were making fun of him. And they said, he's only got a daughter, Fatima. I mean, who's going to know anything about daughters? That's what they said. So let's see what this surah says in a minute. And it says, granting him limitless abundance. That means there's no end to what the Prophet had. And a legacy means something you leave behind. Because the Arabs at that time thought that the only thing that you'd be remembered by is your sons. So let's see what happens. Next slide, please. So, like I told you, Kawthar means abundance. That means there is no end to what you can get. It is the shortest surah. Now let's see what Kawthar is. So, can I have the next slide, please? The benefits of this, and I'll go to Kawthar in a minute. Let's go back. The benefits of reciting Kawthar is, if you ever want anything, say I want something and I don't want it to end. Like, I want to be smart. Don't think about money and stuff like that. That is the Kawthar. Right now you're thinking about, I want to be smart. I want to make sure that my intelligence increases. Recite Surah Al-Kawthar. I want to be kind. I want my intelligence to increase. I want to be kind. I want to be a good human being. Recite Surah Al-Kawthar. When it says drink from Kawthar, it means you will get from that which will have no end. I was talking to somebody at the beginning of January, just at the end of December. You know what people do on the 1st of January? What do they do? What do they make? What's it called? Resolutions. So they make a resolution. This is what I'm going to do in this year. So I was talking to somebody I love very much. And I was talking to her and I said, what is your resolution for this year? Just wanted to ask. And she said, Mama, oh God, now you know she's my daughter. So she said, Mama, When I want people to think of me, in the first 3 adjectives, I want them to put kind. And I thought, oh my goodness, that's what I would want too. So when you close your eyes and you think, how would you want to be remembered? Do you want to be remembered as kind? Or do you want to be remembered as mean? It just depends. So as soon as you think, this is what I want, recite Surah Al-Kawthar. Right, next slide, please. So what is Kawthar? Kawthar is, for the Prophet, Sayyidah Fatima. We just talked about Imam Musa Kazim. Every single Imam, every single person you think of who comes from the progeny of Sayyidah Fatima is what the Prophet got. We don't remember his enemies. Do you remember who called him Abtar? Do you know who called him Abtar? No. But you definitely remember Sayyidah Fatima. It's a spring in Jannah. You're told it's this wonderful spring in Jannah which you can drink from. The Qur'an is Kawthar because it's just limitless. What you gain from it goes on and on and on. Adhan is Kawthar every single day, 5 times a day, in every corner of the world. Adhan is recited. And what is the second phrase in Adhan after Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah? After Allahu Akbar, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, what do you say? Ashhadu anna Muhammadar Rasulullah. And nobody can take that away. So he is remembered, even though what did the Arabs say? That if he didn't have a son, nobody would remember him. Yet in every adhan you remember him. What do you do in salawat? What do you say? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Do you say Allahumma salli ala the person who called the Prophet Abdar? Do you say his name? No, you say Muhammad. So that's abundance. And obviously revelation. That means all the ahadith that we have, that is what the Prophet got. So I go back again. I know you're young and I know you're small, but even today you got to think about, close your eyes and think, what do I want people to remember me by? Even today, even at this age, what do you want people to remember you by? Do you want them to remember the sneakers you wore? The hoodies you wore? What do you want them to remember you by? Don't worry about that. They're fixing it. That means we're going to get use of the second floor soon. What else? So one of you tell me, what would you think you would want somebody to remember you by? What is your Kawthar? Do you want them to remember you as what? Yes. Respectful. Okay. Somebody with integrity. Absolutely. Okay, next slide. Let's go. Section 2 talks about salah and sacrifice. I'll go to it when we come to it. Next slide, please. And section 3 will talk about that. All right, let's now go into every single ayah. My problem with surahs is, any surah of the Qur'an, is when people recite it, when children, especially adults more, okay, all of us, when we recite it, we go, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, Inna a'tainaka al-Kawthar fasalli li rabbika wanhar inna shani'aka huwal abtar. Allahu Akbar. That's it. Khalas. Yet Qur'an can only be experienced in salah. And the reason for picking a short surah is you take each word and you think about it. And you must be able to cry, or you must be able to think, how am I going to do this? What do I want? It doesn't matter. Don't do any of the mustahabat. Nothing mustahab in salah, just the wajibat. But when you do that which is wajib, think about it. So this should be one word at a time. So Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Inna. Inna in Arabic means indeed we. Definitely we. No doubt we. What did we do? A'atainaka. Gave you. And it's talking to the Prophet, but it'll talk to you and me as well. It's telling the Prophet, A'atainaka. We gave you Kawthar. We gave you limitless amount of everything. All those things I told you about. Fatima, Qur'an, Adhan, Salawat, everything. Kawthar is limitless. And he's telling you and me, you have a limitless amount of potential. Don't let anybody tell you that, oh, well, I can't be like that because I'm not good enough, I'm short, I'm tall, I'm dark, I'm fair, Don't let anybody say that to you. Because he says, Inna a'atainaka al-Kawthar. We have given you potential to be the best. I think I've been speaking for the last 30 odd years. And I remember telling children like you that I hope one day to see Maraje, to see presidents, to see nuclear scientists, to see engineers, doctors, whatever, within the crowd. Don't let anybody tell you you're not good enough. Because he says, Inna a'ataynaka kawthar. Now there's two sort of ata in the Qur'an. Both mean give. So one has ayn. Can you see the ayn there? It's not a'atayna, it's a'atayna. Can you say that? A'ataynaka kawthar. The ayn emphasizes giving you big things. Never, ever, 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 when you ask dua, stop at being small. Ask for the little things, but ask for the big things as well. Micro and macro. These are months of asking in Rajab. Don't say, Ya Allah, I just like a new dress, or I want a new shirt, or I want some sneakers, or I want an iPad, or an iPhone, or whatever. These are small things. You can ask for them too, but always go and say, I want to be the best. I want to be, the best human being that ever was there. That's what it's about. So let's start again. Inna a'ataynakal kawthar. Indeed, we have given you a limitless, no end to what you can get. Next slide. So what am I supposed to do? There's something I'm supposed to do. Can I have the next slide, please? Fatim, can I have the next slide? Okay. And the next one. Okay. So this is what I'm supposed to do. Fasalli li rabbika wanhar. What's fasalli mean? Does anybody know what fasalli means? What's salli mean? What does it actually mean? Anybody have any idea what it means? What does salli mean? Salli, before Islam, you and I say go and pray. Go and pray salah. But before Islam, it meant something else. Salah was a bent stick that you softened to straighten it. And the only way you could soften it was by being able to heat it up. Okay? Salah literally means you soften yourself so much, your heart becomes so soft that you realize that you have to thank Allah and you have to turn towards Him. Salah means to submit. What does submit mean? Does anybody know what submit means? What does submit mean? If I said submit to someone, what does that mean? Yes. What does it mean? Try. Okay? Do what that person says or that one says. So this says fasalli. So do what Allah says. He's asked you to pray. Sometimes we have to be forced to pray. Sometimes have to be shouted. Your parents should not have to tell you. Fasalli, if you want to be the best, you've got to connect to the best. And the only way to connect to Him is through salah. It's only through that. The reason why every single assembly I ask you the times of salah is not because I think you don't know them. But those are the times when you really need to understand that that's when you will reach your full potential. Even if you're at school. So say salah time. What's Zohar today? Can anybody remind me what Zohar is today? 12 what? 12:20. Now say you were in school. On Monday, you're going to be in school. What happens at 12:20? Is it break time? Is it lunch time? Or is it class time? Class time? Lunchtime. Lunchtime. So some schools will have lunchtime. Does anybody have class during 12:20? Do you? Okay. So say 12:20 I had class. And I can't tell my teacher, excuse me, I want to go out and pray. She's going to think, what's wrong with you? So at 12:20, for a moment, I stop and I say, Ya Allah, I can't pray just now. I really want to. But as soon as I'm out of this class, I'm going to pray. And connect to Him. Ask Him. Those are the times when the Prophet said, the doors of the heaven are open. And all you have to do is ask. So I would say, please let me be my best. That's what I would say. If you can't remember anything else, I want to be my best. Please look after my mom and dad. Whatever. I think those are the best du'as to do. Do you know the dua that you say for look after mom and dad? Rabbirhamhuma kama rabbayani saghira. It's at 12:20. You're in a class. Just have to close your eyes and say Rabbirhamhuma kama rabbayani saghira. Why did you close your eyes? Miss, I was praying for 1 second. I don't think she'll refuse or he'll refuse. Anyway, so for salli, pray. Li rabbika, only to your Rabb. Who is Rabb? Who is a Rabb, by the way? How do you translate Rabb? Sorry? He's Allah. How do you translate Rabb? Yes. Okay, it means master. That's a bit scary though, isn't it? But it's a good translation because that's the translation most people give. Lord is a translation people give. But a Rabb is someone. You say, Rabbir hamhuma kama rabbayani saghira. Rabb, have mercy for me as they looked after me when I was little. A Rabb is someone who takes you to your full potential, to your best, step by step. Rububiyah means actually making you the best. So pray to your Rabb, wanhar, and sacrifice. So when that was revealed to the Prophet, he said to Jibreel, what is Nahariya? What is it? What do you sacrifice? So Jibreel told the Prophet, Nahariya means to raise your hands during takbir. How do you raise your hands during takbir? Do you know? Go and show me. How do you raise your hands? I've got a microphone in one hand. That's right. And where do you put your thumb? Near your neck. And you put your whole hand towards Qibla. So basically you are saying Allah is greater than everything and everyone, and I would do anything to get closer to Him. And that's why you put it near your neck, because this is where your jugular vein is, and He's closer to you than your jugular vein. So he's saying that is what Nahariya is, wanhar. In fact, Jibreel told him that everything has something that makes it beautiful. And takbir, raising your hands during takbir, makes salah beautiful. I don't see many people raise their hands when they say it. So what does Allahu Akbar mean, by the way? Allah is greater than anything or anyone. Okay, next slide. And the next slide. Right, inna, definitely. Shani'aka, oh my goodness, that is quite a difficult word. Shani, there are two types of enemies. So there's an enemy who doesn't like you. That's okay. But a shani is an enemy who hates you so much that he feels good when you are hurt. You never want to be like that. Never, ever want to be like that. So Allah says, Inna shani'aka, those who hate you, that they even danced in the streets when you lost your son, huwal abtar. They will be the one like the animal without the tail. They will have no legacy. Close your eyes for a minute. Think of the person that you think loves you a lot, that you'd always go to when you were in trouble, when you needed someone, they would be there. They are just the most awesome people in the world. Who do you think of? Right, put up your hand. Who did you think of? Come on, you got to, and don't tell me Allah, yes. Dad, okay, that's awesome, yes. Mom, your nanny, oh my goodness, yes, yes. Your little brother, okay. Best friend. Your big brother. Your cousin, oh my goodness, yes. Your dad, it's just phenomenal. So you never want, now close your eyes, I'm just going to watch your faces, and think of somebody you wouldn't go to at all. I don't want to know their names. You just wouldn't go to them because they're not very nice. Okay, you can open your eyes. I don't want to know who they are. But you never want to be one of those people that people don't want to come to. So this surah is absolutely phenomenal. It tells you, now we're going to do a synopsis of the surah, which means we're going to put it all together. Inna a'ataynakal kawthar. Now you know the history of the Prophet, but for you and me, he has given you and me limitless opportunity to be the best. Nobody can say, I can't be the best, because you all have the same 24 hours. It's how you use your 24 hours that is important. What do I do if I want to make sure that I be the best? فَصَلِّ لِرَبِّكَ وَانْهَرْ. I connect to him. And the best way of connecting to him is through salah. You pray 5 prayers a day. Whether you pray them 3 times a day or you pray them 5 times a day. I prefer them 5 times a day. But if you pray them 3 times a day, that's okay. Connect to him through salah. Wanhar, and sacrifice your takbir. Always know that Allah is greater than everything and everyone. Inna shaniyaka huwal abtar. And those who laugh at you, those who hate you, because you are good, they will be the one who will have nothing. They'll never be the best. Never. Are you good with the surah? Yeah? So every single week, besides next week and the week after, I'm not here. Next week you'll have Sheikh Anwar Jafar, and the week after we'll find somebody for you. We will do a surah of the Qur'an. And I'm hoping that if we have an open book test, you'll be able to know what I'm talking about. So close your eyes for a minute, recite Surah Al-Kawthar with me. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Inna a'tainaka al-kawthar. Fasalli li rabbika wanhar. Inna shaniyaka huwa al-abtar. Are you good with that? Can you understand it now? Every single word? Yes? Alhamdulillah. Can I have a salawat, please? Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad wa ajil farajam. Right, those of you who normally go into the main hall, you can go there. And those who stay here for Qur'an, you can stay here.